Hey, Redemption Gateway, welcome to today's Daily Dose. We're on part 5 of 7 on the Fundamentals of Discipleship. That is the basic practices or disciplines or behaviors or habits that we can engage in that help us be learners who seek to be connecting with Christ and following after Him in the basics of our life. I remember going my transition from my undergrad to my master's degree. One of the bigger transitions I had to make was that I went from having my tuition paid for by scholarship to paying for my tuition out of pocket. And so every 3 to 6 months, a big hunk would come out of my bank account and I would feel it. And one of the things I noticed that was different was when I had skin in the game, that is when the tuition was coming out of my bank account, it motivated me more in my classes because I thought, I'm paying to be here, I better get my money's worth. That my investment out of my bank account into school gave me buy-in, it gave me skin in the game. It motivated me from the inside out to be more engaged in what I was doing. This idea is called the treasure principle, this reality that where my money goes, my heart follows it. That literally what I give money to and how I give my money affects the things that I care about and love in a dramatic way. And this is all about what our 5th discipline is about. It's that of giving, the practice of generosity. Jesus talks about this in Matthew 6. He says, "Do not lay up for yourself treasures on earth where moths and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroy, and where thieves do not break and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." What we do with our time, with our talents, and with our treasure, the way that we give it, the way that we invest it, affects the way that our hearts have affection for those things and those places. And this whole idea of giving to the local church or giving of our time, talent, and treasure to the local church is one of the ways we grow in affection for the body of Christ. If anything, many of the studies that have been done on massive megachurches about the predictors of people's long-term love for the church and for Jesus is actually highly correlated with what they do with their money as it relates to the church. Because where you put your treasure, there goes your heart. Now, when I have financial skin in the game in the local church, it helps me love and care for my local church. It also is teaching me that I am not to be putting my treasures laid up on earthly things. That departing from my 10% of my paycheck is actually teaching me that I'm not to be trusting in money, but I am to be trusting in Jesus and His gospel. And I just want to encourage all of us at Redemption Gateway to pay attention to where we are putting our treasure. What are you investing in? Because what you're investing in is going to lead your heart. That our wallets tend to lead our hearts. And if we want our hearts to move and change and be different, we have to lead them differently with our wallets. This idea of the treasure principle, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Where is your heart? Where is your treasure? Let's be a giving, generous people, not just because the church needs it, but because our hearts need it. Thanks, Redemption Gateway, for tuning in. I'll see you next week for part 6, or tomorrow for part 6 of our Daily Doses.